I was immediately enthralled. She was so intelligent and so convinced that we could be able to clear my acne, which if anyone's been through that, that's the dream. She also called me family. I really felt like I was hanging out with and getting advice from my mom. I opened the front-facing camera on my phone to use as a mirror and saw what I thought looked like a white cream or a white lotion, but pretty quickly realized that that was actually my skin just burned.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kate D, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm going to share with you the story of Victoria Nelson. She's a young woman in California whose story has gone viral over the last month or so. She went to a celebrity esthetician in LA and ended up getting scarred for life. I'm going to tell you her story and give you my take on it and give you some background on the esthetician who did this to her. So first of all, Victoria Nelson posted this about a month ago on TikTok.
I started seeing Sonya in late 2019. I was 26 and was insecure about having acne. That's not really that far out of the realm of normal for a lot of people.
She went to see a pretty famous esthetician in the Hollywood area called Sonya Dakar. Maybe some of you have heard of her. She has called herself the Skin Ninja and has marketed herself to all the famous celebrities in Hollywood and has bragged publicly and privately to her other clients that she has treated Gwyneth Paltrow and Drew Barrymore and other famous people. And so she has been around a really long time. She launched a skincare product line back in the 70s. And she is an esthetician in California. She is licensed by the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology in California, which has pretty strict rules. But this is what happened to Victoria. She started seeing this esthetician in 2019 for acne, and the esthetician promised that she would get rid of her acne, and she did. And she charged a lot of money for her services. Victoria was really happy with Sonya's treatments for about 2 years. And then she went in for a routine facial in April of 2021. And at the end of that facial, Sonya Dakar recommended a peel and said it was no big deal. It was a light peel, no downtime or irritation. And Victoria trusted her, loved her, and went ahead with the peel. Well, there was no eye protection used, and Sonya dropped an acid peel directly using a dropper onto Victoria's skin, which immediately started to burn. So she dropped a whole bunch on one cheek, the other cheek, and the forehead, and immediately her skin turned to white mush. And it burned, and it was really painful, and she complained right away. So Sonya did wipe it away immediately and rinsed it off. But that, once a burn is done, it's done. She reassured Victoria, oh, don't worry, we can take care of this in a month. It'll be perfect. Victoria leaves the spa and Sonya charges her for this facial where she has burned her patient, her client, I should say. But she promised Victoria she would make it right. And when Victoria went through all the process, so her skin scabbed up and sloughed off and was left with divots in her skin and depigmented areas. That's what happens with the burn very commonly. Sonya Dakar promised her, we can fix this. It'll just require a lot of microneedling. And she did first a set of 10 microneedling sessions, and then I believe another set of 6 more, and overall charged her another $30,000 for treatments to treat the scarring and the burn that she had just caused. Okay. Never sent Victoria to a specialist or a doctor. So this went on for over a year. Finally, over a year later, July of 22, Victoria finally went to see a dermatologist. And the dermatologist was dumbfounded. Okay, why didn't she send you to a doctor immediately or sooner? So the dermatologist then recommended further laser treatments, which cost her another $10,000. And I will just tell you right now, okay, estheticians anywhere, cannot do medical procedures. And a medium depth chemical peel, which this has to have been, okay, this was not a light peel. This was a very strong acid peel. My guess, it was either a TCA peel or a phenol. I'm not really sure. And actually, to this day, as far as I know, Sonya never did tell Victoria what kind of peel it was. In any event, this was way out of the scope of practice for an esthetician in California, really in any state, but especially in California, is very strict about what an esthetician can and can't do. The other thing that was totally out of the scope of her practice was microneedling. Microneedling is a medical procedure. We put little tiny needles, but they go into the dermis, and anything that passes through the epidermis into your body, into the skin, is considered a medical procedure. And so not only was she doing that illegally, but she was charging her thousands and thousands of dollars to fix a complication that she herself created, and never referred her away to a specialist to treat these burns. So as far as I know, there's probably some legal action. I don't know that Sonya still has her license or not. I believe that the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology in California has not yet acted on this matter. I'm sure there's probably a legal case out there. We will include links to see what the scarring looks like. To this day, there are multiple updates and videos. But in the video, so this all happened originally in 2021, and you can still see the scarring on her face. It's quite geographic. It's one side of her cheek looks like a P. Since Victoria's videos have gone viral, there have been many other people, both employees and former clients, coming out of the woodwork to post videos about their own terrible experience. So let me tell you what this woman's MO has been, okay? I'm just going to summarize what these other people have said. So first of all, this is a common thing that she would do is reach out to young, burgeoning influencers on Instagram. And she would message them saying, hey, come to my spa. I'm a esthetician to the rich and famous. I will give you a free facial as long as you post about it on your Instagram channel. Okay. So lots of these women would come in and get this free facial. Multiple accounts have been where the facial took much longer than expected, many hours. There were many gaps where the client was left alone in the room. They generally suspected that she was working multiple rooms at a time. So she was going into a room, doing something, and leaving someone else alone. And I bring this up because these are people who are working, had other jobs, had other things to go to. And she routinely kind of just treated them like they had nothing better to do than to be seeing Sonya. So the standard practice was the entire time she was doing the facial, it was an upsell to get them to buy her products. And she was very heavy-handed in this, made them feel like they absolutely needed it, made them feel that their skin was terrible, that they really, really needed her, that she was basically their skin savior. And then when the client would be done with the facial finally, would go to the front desk, and there were already hundreds of dollars worth of products that were already rung up and for that client to take home. Several of these clients reported that they didn't want to buy the products, but it was already charged, and they took them home and they realized, oh my God, I don't want these products. Tried to return them. And then Sonya's office would not refund them. In one case, they said they would refund partly, but then they charged her again. And still, they never got the money back. So it's kind of this really incredible, like arrogant idea that I'm going to save your skin. I'm going to fix you, and then charge them lots and lots of money. And at best, maybe cured their acne, which was great. I mean, acne is hard to treat, and we cure acne all the time. That's important. But scamming these people along the way and taking their money, and then again, harming them, risking their skin, risking these scars, and then actually scarring people for life, and then charging them money for the bad procedure itself, and then also for multiple procedures to fix it. I mean, that's just unconscionable. There were also multiple reports from former employees. She's actually been sued for discrimination as racist, homophobe. She has an anti-religion bent. Anyway, that lawsuit was actually settled. We don't know the outcome. Presumably, the former employees probably had to sign an NDA because there's no further information about that. So there are also some crazy history that Sonya has lived through. It's kind of fascinating. If you look back, you can Google her, Sonya Dakar, Dakar. The very first set of lawsuits were back in the 2000s when she divorced her husband, and her ex-husband and son sued her. They had a big family lawsuit about who owns the trademark. And then in 2008, Sonya was actually arrested when the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology came in and inspected her place, and her license that was on the wall was expired. And when the inspector went to take down the expired license, she literally grabbed the inspector and tried to bite her. So if you've been listening to the show, you know I've got stories for days about what goes on in med spas. I finally put them all in a book. It's called Med Spa Mayhem. I wrote it because I got tired of hearing about people getting hurt by providers who have no business holding a syringe. You'll read about real patients, real nightmares, but more importantly, you'll know exactly what to look for when you walk into any med spa and what questions to ask. It's part expose, part survival guide, and it might just save your life. Med Spa Mayhem will leave you informed, entertained, and a little shocked at what's really going on behind the business of the aesthetics industry. The link is in the episode description. Read it before you book your next appointment, because beauty should never come at the cost of your safety. So she was arrested and released on $20,000 bail. There are also many, many Better Business Bureau complaints against her. She has declared bankruptcy at least once that I can tell, back in 2012. And if you look at her Yelp reviews, she has 188 Yelp reviews and a 2-star average. Okay. That's actually hard to do. Okay. So if you go and read them, and mind you, Yelp reviews can be fake, but also the good ones can be fake and the bad ones can be fake. It's hard to tell, right? But it is very, very hard to end up with a 2-star average, even with a lot of fake reviews. I think what's happened, though, is I will say that a couple of the videos on social media of her former employees and of her former clients specifically say the bad reviews are real. This exact scenario happened to me. Okay. I will say that when I reviewed the Yelp reviews, it looks like there are several people who've gone on, watched Victoria's video, and then filed a Yelp review saying this is the kind of thing that she did. Those people, I don't know whether they actually ever saw Sonya, but it's clear that many of them are talking about their personal experience. Okay. So take reviews with a grain of salt. Okay. It is a game, and a lot of people can file fake reviews. So, but according to one of the testimonials on social media, one of her former employees said that Sonya actually required her employees to write false positive reviews on Yelp to make up for some of the negative reviews on there. So you never know. You have to kind of actually read them. Okay. And there is actually, if you want to read about Victoria's experience, the New York Post ran an entire article about her on September 11th in 2025. We'll probably post that in our show notes as well. So I want to leave you all with some advice, and that is absolutely read reviews. Keep in mind, yes, some of them may be fake, and every place will have at least a few 1-star reviews of someone who is disgruntled over something, and sometimes it's really even about their credit card. It might not even have to do with the spa or the person itself, but read those reviews and you can tell when somebody's had a personal experience and they've been harmed. And the other thing is, really Do not, if someone approaches you on Instagram and says, hey, here's a free facial, I'm just going to tell you, there is no such thing as a free lunch. There's always some catch. So I encourage you all to do your own Googling and read reviews and ask the questions, because this person, obviously was practicing medicine without a license, was practicing way out of the scope of her license, was endangering people's skin and their beauty and really risking really permanent harm. And clearly that's happened to at least one person. Again, ask the right questions and stay tuned. We will be back next week with more Med Spa Confidential. Thanks for listening. If you found this helpful, do me a favor and share it with a friend who's considering any aesthetic treatments. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and drop a comment telling me your biggest takeaway. I actually read them all. Let's keep each other safe and elevate the standards in the med spa industry.